I always screw this up, and I think that we're not live when we actually are. So I'm just going to talk as though we are in fact live. Welcome along, everybody. So 2 things before we rip into it here today, people. Firstly, a very, very happy birthday to our guest today, Mr. Gonzo.
Hey.
Happy birthday, mate.
Ouch.
Happy birthday to you.
Where's your dress? Where's your dress?
I don't have time for the whole thing, but I do have an undress.
2 Canadians for the price of 1 today, people. Isn't that great? Only here on the Hard Forking channel. We're going to be looking at the charts, having a bit of a chat on our common interests, which one of the main ones is obviously Axie. Big fans of that. I think between us, we've probably got about 200 scholarships on the roll. So we'll obviously have a look at those charts. I made the very silly move yesterday of not listening to what my co-hosts have been telling me, and that the price of breeding was about to halve. And what did I do? I went out and bought a bunch of AXS.
AXS. Yeah, I don't think you'll be upset with that. I really don't.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have a look at the chart and discuss that very, very shortly. Yeah. But my first question to you before we look at charts, is this a bull trap? To me, we've had some of the most devastating news in crypto land for a very long time. We'll discuss that shortly. But your thoughts, Baloo? Is this one filthy bull trap we're all walking into here?
I don't think that it shows characteristics of being a bull trap. I think the price action that we're seeing right now is very healthy. It's very strong. It shows a sense of urgency, and a bull trap. It's kind of I'm watching the 50K level. I'm watching around 50K, but at the same time, I am basically fully in Bitcoin at around 41K with a break-even stop. So I don't care if it's a bull trap. So if you know how to mitigate risk and you know how to position yourself accordingly, bull trap, bear trap, up or down, it doesn't really matter if you're protecting yourself against the negative side of your thesis. So it could, but what I'm seeing in the charts right now is we're going up. And we're going up in a very strong way, and that's not a characteristic of a bull trap.
Okay, that form fills me with the warm fuzzies. Shall we have a look at that BTC chart?
He's going to go close his shorts right now.
Right? I'll be honest. I went into a short position. I don't know, maybe 24 hours ago, and it was very short lived. I looked at I was obviously following the news out of the US minute by minute. So we'll discuss that shortly, but talk us through the chart here, Baloo.
Yeah. So, we have been, my traders in the group have been watching this consolidation, which we call very shitty. It's very bad price action. It was a very ugly consolidation that just kept giving us lower highs and lower lows. So we were trading it bearish. I was not shorting it. I was just not participating to the long side. But this move right here is a very strong move. And in the Wyckoff theory, at the end of a trading range, if it is a consolidation, if it is an accumulation, meaning that, investors are accumulating the asset for further price discovery, you get an SOS, a sign of strength. SOS, one little backup, picture perfect, and we're marking up out of the channel. We have our confirmed breakout. We have a beautiful amount of volume coming in. It's looking really, really good and building steadily. Volume can be a tricky one for a lot of people. Typically, when you have nothing and then all of a sudden there's a spike, that's going to be supply. That's going to be people selling. But when you have this gradual, steady, and predictable amount of volume, it's demand. It's the market waking up. It's people getting ready. It's signals being hit and traders getting in. So it's looking really, really good. I like every characteristic that I see in this chart since down here at the bottom when we had our spring event.
The birthday boy's got his hand up for a question.
Yeah, how far back in that chart do you have to go before we see volume like that?
So this is FTX, which actually isn't a very fair analysis because FTX is gaining popularity. So when I'm doing a lot of volume analysis, I'll go to the BLX, which is the Brave New Coin Liquid Index. It's an index of price and volume. So it's going to give you more fair and accurate analysis. And a tick up like this is comparable to kind of this area of the turnaround. It's hilarious. It's kind of like the DeFi NIP meltdown, when we had the DeFi summer and then we had that reaccumulation after decline. We had a distribution event, big shakeout that scared a lot of people, a little bit of an accumulation. I've actually been watching this part of the chart. We call these analogs in the Wyckoff method. It's just a comparison. Some people call them fractals, but it's just a comparison of the sequence of events. So we've been comparing this part of the chart quite a bit, and it's looking even more so similar to where we are today. So it's looking good.
I mean, an interesting. I'll sort of pepper this show with my thoughts on the infrastructure bill, which has gone from the Senate and will be presented to the House of Representatives in the US in about a month's time. This might seem like a boring thing for many of you watching right now, but believe me, anyone that's in crypto, this is something you've certainly got to keep an eye on. My observations so far from what's been discussed is that proof of work blockchains are really not going to be so affected by this. So Bitcoin, in a weird way, as much as this bill is extremely restrictive, might actually benefit from it. I got grave concerns for DeFi and a lot of what's happening on Ethereum for people involved in crypto in the US. So we're going to talk more about that. But my feeling from everything I've understood is it won't affect Bitcoin. So this charge could be further fueled by that in a weird way. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, any regulation is going to add some form of clarity. So if it adds, a lack of clarity to the DeFi sector and the proof of stake sector, but adds clarity to proof of work, kind of unfortunate for the development of blockchain and innovation, but, clarity is clarity.
Which is all happening on proof of stake.
Yeah. And so, the investors are going to put their money where there is clarity. So if that is the decisions that are being made, I'm not at all surprised because Bitcoin is rallying off of this news quite aggressively. This is a very, very healthy chart for Bitcoin.
Yeah. Look,
I would also like to...
For me, straight up, it makes no sense. To me, that was incredibly negative news. So I'm a little shocked. Still trying to figure it out. But yeah, I'm watching closely. Hence starting the show by asking you if this could be a bull trap. So that's very interesting. Have you got an ETH chart there for us, Baloo?
I do have an ETH chart, but I've also prepared a few comparative charts because, when Bitcoin starts going, everybody wants to jump in altcoins. And I do want to say that we're kind of in this momentum shift period where the altcoins aren't looking as good as Bitcoin. So I'm not saying, don't buy altcoins. I am saying that if you think the altcoin's going to moon because Bitcoin's moving, I don't think that is going to be the case. And we can determine these types of things when we do what's called comparative analysis. So in Wyckoff, we're always comparing any asset that we're interested in investing in against its index. So commonly, a very popular correlation is any stock in the S&P 500, you compare it against the S&P 500. And if it's not outperforming it, you don't invest in it. So when we're looking at an asset like Bitcoin, we can see that we are getting above the line of the consolidation here, whereas the index, the total market cap, the total crypto space as a whole is not. So we have a lagging indicator there. The Bitcoin is definitely healthier. Then we go to the total market cap versus total 2, which is the total market cap excluding Bitcoin. And we haven't even reached a breakout yet. So for those that are kind of sitting on their hands and waiting, to get into their altcoins, we're kind of experiencing a little bit of what another YouTuber, Chris Dunn, coined this term popcorn season, where just random shit is popping off and it tricks investors into thinking it's altcoin season. It's not altcoin season. we need
it's
to
big
see
players cycling from project to project, in my opinion.
It's honestly random. It's just momentum coming into the market and random illiquid projects pumping as people with large balances FOMO into random projects. So, you know, it's an indication of, you know, these momentum shifts coming in, but it's not altcoin season. So you have time to assess, you have time to evaluate. And when you compare Bitcoin's performance against the rest of the chart, if you're exposed to Bitcoin, there is no urgency for you to jump into an altcoin. So just kind of wanted to drill that point home.
I can see the hidden, well, the degen trader and Mr. Gonzo sort of starting to come back into life here, rubbing his chin.
Well, what I've noticed that when Bitcoin starts making big moves like this, if you look at Binance, right, like the bottom of the charts, like the lowest volume trading stuff, it's not really random. It's like usually the stuff that's the lowest volume and has the lowest price points you get, and it's organized. It's pump groups, I think,
Yes.
Boom, suddenly, bam, everything else would be like, within this like 10%, minus 10% range. And this super liquid, low cap shit that's really cheap goes
that you
up
haven't
like
heard
60,
about
70. Yeah, exactly.
In a long time, like CTSI, like somebody's asking me this, like, I don't know what this is. This is nothing.
This is
a pump and dump.
Yes, totally.
So, buyer beware.
And you'll notice it fucking goes in alphabetical order too. I swear to God. It's like,
really?
What?
Yes. There's been days where it's like C, 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 D. It's like, what?
Right.
And there's days where you have these groupings.
If there's any US senators watching this, Gonzo, they're going to be like, see, we do need regulation.
Yeah. We got pump and dumps in alphabetical order. Get ready. Here we go.
But you notice it on Binance all the time. There's a couple that are so good for it. like anytime nothing else is moving, like Grossel coin, GRSP, that's just a turd. But it's guaranteed for like crazy, like 60, 70% pump just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I've done that a couple times. Just like, small, tiny little bets. You throw like $100 in there. You just, okay, I'll forget about it for like 3 weeks, a month, and all of a sudden, oh, cool.
By the way, shout out to the brave new coin people. Hopefully meeting up with them in the next couple of weeks. They're based down here in New Zealand. I've been chatting to some of those people recently.
What?
Nice. Right
yes. So
back on to the Ethereum chart. Ethereum, like I just mentioned, all crypto is lagging against Bitcoin right now. So other than just the random pumps that, you can't really trade unless, doing what Gonzo says, just you're already in it, you're already ahead of it. And you kind of, it's a small position that you're willing to wait for. But Ethereum is just trailing Bitcoin a little bit. So, we have a very similar structure. We're just getting outside of the trading range. We're getting ready for what looks to be a breakout. So it's looking good for Ethereum, regardless of the news, the negativity that's coming from the fundamentals side. And then we can couple kind of the timing with that with probably the Bitcoin BTC pairing on that one. It looks like we're kind of getting ready, broke a triangle, even though I try not to trade these, but they're a signal, it's something, it's there. So we broke out of the triangle. We're getting ready to turn around, break above this level at 7,000 sats. We'll probably get the momentum back into Ethereum as it playing catch up with Bitcoin right now.
I'm stoked. I made it a trade recently. I haven't been making much lately, but my only trade was SLP for ETH. Just at the bottom of that little lowest low there, just before it started moving up. I'm like, yeah.
Nice.
So
you were on the ETH? You were on, ETH SLP?
Yeah, ETH SLP.
Or SLP ETH.
Just before the news about the burning was coming up, the hard fork. I'm like, come on.
Look, while you guys are talking about that, because obviously I know there's going to be a lot of our community tuning in or watching this later today. Obviously they cut the breeding costs today. AXS was halved. How do you think?
I heard that they are increasing the SLP side too. So I think that's kind of better. It's a better model because, it's hard to be invested in the AXS token if you have to spend so much of it to breed. And SLP was becoming really imbalanced. It was too easy to farm. It was too easy to create the SLP. So, lowering the breeding fee on ASX is going to encourage the breeders to keep breeding when they do increase the SLP price, which is going to be the burning effect of the SLP. So I think it's a nice adjustment. I don't like it in the short term. I mean, and everybody's kind of freaking out. All the scholars are upset in the short term, but honestly, I would rather have half the SLP at 20 cents than have what we had before at 5 cents or 4 cents, because that's where we were going if there wasn't an adjustment to be made.
Totally. It was funny because it was all sparked by that little energy tweak that they had, right? And you could see it the day that they implemented. Well, everything was turned off, right, for the couple days. There's a flat spot, and then boom! As soon as they reinstated it, they changed the energy, and it was exploited like a day later, and that's nice slow downward from 35 to like 16 cents, right?
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, SLP
they acted fast, man, like 2 weeks at the most. So, but they don't mention that that's the reason. They just mentioned more botting, and but they didn't mention the reason that the bots exploited it was because they tweaked it just a little tiny little bit.
Well, Mr. Gonzo's got the growth lead of Axie Infinity back on our channel next week. So anyone watching, if you've got questions, if you are involved in Axie, please put them in the comments below the video, and we'll certainly be doing our best to ask him a few toughies. We've had, how many times have we had him on the channel?
This will be the fourth time, I think.
Fourth time.
Yep. Hey, Baloo, what about AXS and the supply? So if we run some numbers and we talk about the users of Axie, right?
Yeah.
We crossed 1 million. That means there should be at least 3 million Axies, right? I think there's maybe almost touching 4 now, right?
Yeah, we're at 4. Yeah.
So
checking that today.
Jeho was talking, and he was, he's expecting like 5 million users by the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
So that means you're going to need 15 million Axies,
right?
Which means that how much SLP and AXS is going to have to be burned between that time, right?
So is the AXS burned too, or does that go into the treasury?
It goes into the treasury, but it's out of supply, right? It still has the same effect with the supply.
Gotcha.
But it's not burnt. Sorry.
Okay.
My mistake. Yep.
Yeah.
The treasury is crazy how much they have in there.
Right. That's good. Every time I reflect upon the decisions that team is making, these guys are not here to fucking steal your money. They're not. They're not trying to just steal their money. They're doing everything they possibly can to make this last because they have a really long vision. And that's unique. There's a lot of scum in crypto. And, we've seen all these copycat projects come up with the gaming industry. And although I may feel the effects of their decisions, and it's kind of interesting when you have, a team of individuals pulling on the levers of the economy. But, that's what we got with the government, so sometimes, a little bit of regulation can be helpful if it's for a longer term. And I really do kind of trust the team that they're not trying to screw us. There's no exit scam here. They really do care. So I really
look, I mean, these guys have created a place in history.
Yeah,
they literally have created a place in history.
Have.
So all eyes on them. I don't think there's anything dodgy going on.
Yeah, I agree. As far as the chart, we are getting overheated. We are getting very overheated on the AXS chart. There's an incredible amount of demand. There's a lot of hype for a reason. We have a huge demand force. I can't really. A lot of the technicals that I use to cap out price projections, they fall short anytime I'm doing analysis on AXS. But the next target that we have that me and the group came up with is right around $116. The last time I came up with that, I came up with $16. So, it blew right past that. I'm not, not financial advice, but with this one, you ride the wave. You ride the wave, and the wave is very strong. It's a no-brainer. This will probably be in excess of 100 faster than you think.
Oh yeah, I was predicting a week.
Yeah.
I mean,
really. So,
dude, the breeding news, right? Okay, so now everybody's like, whoa, okay, I got to better stock up more AXS. Then they're going to start breeding. They're going to start coming out of circulation. You're going to see more demand for Axies. It's like this nice little tight circle. It's all connected.
It's a really interesting transition in the market behavior with AXS, because when we increased the breeding fee from 2 to 4, everybody panicked and they went out and they bought AXS because their plans had changed. Yep. I was one of those. I was like, I want X amount of teams. I bought this many tokens, and my plan changed. So it's like, shit, I got to go out and I got to buy. So it was a huge increase in demand. Now they just flipped it back to 2. And we still have high demand. So the market is getting a lot of attention. People are diving into it. They understand the economics. They understand the potential longevity that we have here. I am kind of always pessimistic with the longevity of crypto, but I think that is a safety feature of my mindset.
That's called you've gone through a bear market.
Yeah, that's called I have trauma. I have bear market trauma. But, it's honestly, it's like one of the best projects we have in the crypto space right now. And the market's realizing that, and the tokens are appreciating accordingly.
Yeah, I'm really I'm not actually seeing, a successor or anyone even that's coming close to biting their heels at the moment. What are your thoughts around that? I mean, obviously we will run a number of scholarships. I'm still ramping mine up. And the reason I'm doing that is, I surely there's other projects that are going to come up with some great play to earn models, but are you seeing anything else? Firstly, Baloo, that you think's potentially got some legs on that front?
Well, there's like 3 that show up in my YouTube comments quite often, so I can address those in terms of the hype train. First one is Alluvium. Yep. It doesn't have a game. There's nothing there. It's a very good product trailer. But that's it. There's nothing. So, it's pumping really? It's no, there's nothing. There's no game.
That's been on every goddamn YouTuber is just hyping the.
Yeah. And there's nothing. There's literally no game to play. So that's Alluvium. That's a no-go for me. Absolutely not. It's pump and dump. You want to get in, but be prepared to get out. The next one is Skill. Skill is kind of a bullshit project. It's got a pretty liquid marketplace. I will give it.
These are just our thoughts, by the way, audience, not financial advice.
Crypto Blades is the name attached to that one.
Crypto Blades, that gives you the Skill token. It's liquid. There are a lot of people playing it. It has more adoption, but the game isn't a game. It's a joke, really. Like, it's just sign a transaction and see if you won. For me, that's not really a gameplay. There's no strategy. It's not like Axie where you have to think about what the next move of the player is, and it's a little bit more interactive. And then the third one is, oh God, what's that? It's the League of something. League of
Legends.
Well, no, League of Legends is another.
Guild of Guardians.
Guild of Guardians. Maybe it's something like that.
Gods Unchained.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a third.
I know the one you mean. If FTX, the platform you use, I believe, have come in and sponsored these guys.
They partnered with YGG, which is a Yield Guild something, Yield Guild Gold or
Yield
something.
Games Guild.
Yield Games Guild. That's it. Thank you. And they are pushing this. I don't have my Discord up, but they're pushing this other game as well. So that one's got some attention. It
John
does
Marlowe
also.
Says Crypto Blades is lame.
Yeah, Crypto Blades is lame. If you're in
League,
if you're trying to
League of Kingdoms.
League of Kingdoms, yes, that is it. Our community is plugged in. Well done. Yes. So that one's getting some attention, and it does have a liquid marketplace as well. But what we study or our investment thesis that we have in the group is follow the leaders, because the leaders are going to give you the most often. Jesse Livermore is one of the most wealthiest, or he was one of the most wealthiest stock traders back in the early 1920s. And his investment thesis was simple: pick a sector, pick the leader, pick the entry. And that was it. Like, he did, if you were in oil, he only bought the macro cap of oil. If you were in the railroads, he only bought the macro cap, the top of the list of the trains. And he was the wealthiest stock operator that ever existed. So he certainly wasn't digging up hidden gems. He wasn't going for the next big Axie. He was just buying Axie.
I kind of do that similar strategy with crypto, but because everything is new, there's a lot more hidden gem finding. Right. Yep. So I would go through each sector, like, okay, shipping, okay, well, supply chain, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so contracts, okay, gaming, okay, derivatives trading. There's all these little sectors, and you can see, like you said, you find the guy that's poking out the top, and usually those are going to be the guys that are going to keep going for another year or two, if not longer.
Baloo, let's stay in with this gaming chat. Obviously, NFT gaming is just going through the roof at the moment. You and I always look at the Rev chart. Are you still in it? What's the chart telling us? I'm actually going to stop being a boomer investor and get in there and really buy the assets in this thing. And Stefano mentioned today that he's looking at a scholarship model around it as well, which
the scholarship model. The scholarship model, in my opinion, is the most powerful driver of demand that you have with any of these gaming tokens. So if you find a project that you think is going to pull an Axie, it has to have a scholarship program, in my opinion. It's a huge driver of demand. It's why the marketplaces are so liquid. It's why people, keep bringing on more assets and more and more and more. So we got to the top of the channel here. I sold my Rev tokens. I just saw a little bit of curling over, but that doesn't mean that I'm not exposed. I am exposed with the underlying assets. So I have 2 cars. I got some engines. I got some drivers. I got some of the NFTs, and that's going to be my exposure. I figured I wasn't liking the demand was really kind of pulling off at the wrong spot.
See a scholarship model in that guy?
I think you can do it. The problem is you need to figure out how to do a multi-signature wallet, and you need to be present for the transactions that your scholars are doing at the time. So to do it at scale, it would be a full-time job where you have the scholar signing transactions as well as the scholar manager also signing transactions at the same time. So it's a very different model. It'll require a lot more admin and a lot more attention in real time, but it's not impossible. But I do like the separation that Axie has with, login and password and wallet transactions of the marketplace.
What is the value of a scholarship if you were to scholar? How much is a car?
The cars aren't cheap. I think I paid for a shitty car for a quarter of an Ethereum. That was not too long ago, but it was a few weeks ago now. So I haven't looked at the marketplace recently, but I don't think it's moving very quickly. The marketplace is pretty illiquid. There's not a lot of attention on Rev right now. So I think, if you are going to buy the NFTs and there is adoption, the price of those NFTs will go up. But yeah, it was like 0.25 ETH per car. And then it was like 0.15 for a driver. And then those are just those are the floor, those are the floor prices. So they are a little expensive, especially for something that doesn't have adoption. But
so, I mean, we've talked about other scholarship models, right? And one of them that I don't know that might work for this is you use your collateral from another game. You have your top scholar from, say, Axie. That's a really good player. They're making a fair bit. They've got, good Axies, right? You've got that collateral over them, and then you actually just send them the asset to their wallet. I don't know if you've thought about something like that.
I get traditional.
Yes.
It's just more of a traditional loan mechanic, right? Because
I like the sound of that. I mean, we're building a community where we're getting to really know these people well. And so some of them.
There's going to be
the traditional scholar model is very, very like
plug and play.
Well, it requires a lot of trust, and in a place that you shouldn't be trusting people, with the internet and the amount of multi-accounting and like scammers and fake accounts and stuff, right? So just to go in like out of nowhere and say, okay, I'm just going to hire a scholar to play Rev, right? It'd be super difficult, I think. But it sounds like if you had, a stronger scholar from your other games, you could work something out probably like that,
Yeah. Yeah. And then the next app that's going to be built is a NFT gamer credit score. You'll have certain accounts where the gamer is assessed on skill and trustability, and then you will be able to go to monster.com for hiring these esports like that. The doors have been open. Like you're going to see all these things.
You're going to have their like overall earnings that they've made, right?
Yeah.
Just quickly before we go on to another chart, community, if there's anyone could please check Rev out and give me your thoughts. I'm actually sitting on a few of these tokens, which I'm going to turn into assets. I was talking to Stefano, mentioned it today, that he's potentially looking at a scholar model there. I've had the Rev token for a long time now, so time to do something with it.
And with your entry, you told me your entry, you have nothing to worry about. I entered at a much higher, much riskier level. I mean, in the big picture, who knows where this thing can go, but I just wasn't liking the market at the time. I wasn't liking the price action at the time. And my entry was a lot tighter. So I was just like, you know what? I got the NFTs. That's my long exposure. Let's see what happens with the NFTs. That'll be my hodl for Rev, and just decided to sell the tokens.
Yeah, I mean, the company behind Rev is called Animoca Brands. They just a couple of weeks ago, they raised about 140 mil. They were a listed company on the Australian Stock Exchange. I think they're based out of Hong Kong now. But I'm seeing their name pop up constantly. There has been some issues with the actual gameplay, the way assets were sold in the past. I think it was, with credit cards were involved, and it wasn't very crypto, is my point. But there are things I like about this. As far as gameplay goes, it's actually a really slick, great looking game. So yeah, I mean, what have you played much of it, Baloo? What are your thoughts on the actual gameplay?
I've played it. There's two ways that you can play it. You can play it where you can control the car. I suck at that, very much so. And then you can play it where you just do a time trial that's basically just testing your stats of the car, similar to what Crypto Blades is doing. You just sign the transaction and see where you placed. So there are two different ways that you can play. I was never much for racing games to begin with personally. And I was reminded of that when I tried to steer a car through the track. I suck at it.
Anyway, we're getting sidetracked here. We're meant to be doing a technical analysis show. What is this chart saying?
Well, we are at, the bullish case scenario here is we break out of this ascending wedge, this ascending megaphone pattern. So there is a little bit of room to the downside potentially, but we are getting a nice reaction. We're getting a nice rally. So there's a significant area here that the market is reacting to, and I can't quite pin which level of support they're looking at. My best guess would probably be this area back here. So there's a little bit of support and resistance in this general area. So we're reacting to the bottom of the support, but we have yet to break out of the resistance. So bullish case scenario is we continue up and we continue to break through this megaphone pattern. So maybe get something like this. But the problem with megaphones, they're actually quite hard to trade, because if you get to the bottom, they also have the potential to go to or you get to the top, they also have the potential to go to the bottom before giving another swing at the top. But yeah, two things to look out for. Currently seeming to have some sort of market reaction at this level. We just need to break above some of these highs to continue that momentum forwards. 20 cents is a big resistance here.
It has been for a long time. Yeah, it shot up from just below 5 where I got an entry, and it's just stalled. But as I say, look, sitting on the token, I've been a little bit too much of a boomer on this one. I need to get in there and actually utilize the token. So watch this space. Maybe I'll do a bit of a report on our trading show next week on that one. So any other charts that you think we should have a look at? I mean, it's looking through CoinGecko, you pretty much pick anything at the moment. It seems to be breaking out.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that we're quite there yet with the, trades that are going to have really good momentum. One that is leading quite well, actually, is FTT. So this is a side-by-side comparison of the FTX token against Bitcoin, going back to that methodology of always comparing the stock or asset that you're trying to trade against its index or its competitor. As far as the large market cap coins, it's really hard to find something that's beating Bitcoin's structure, but FTX token is on a tear. It's doing phenomenally well. So it's kind of at risky territory for new entries right now. I would love, if you see a pullback in this token, it would be a fantastic entry to gain an opportunity to gain a position, not financial advice, but you really want to see how we behave once we get to the top of the all-time high.
Could you explain to me? So FTX is owned by Sam. I always get this guy's name wrong. Sam
Bankman-Fried is the owner and CEO of FTX Exchange, as well as the head of Alameda Research,
who are massive investors in Solana.
Yes, huge investors in Solana.
Are we able to overlay a Solana chat on a chart?
Yeah, we can do a side by side with Sol. Sol is not at the same spot as. I
just want to see if they look exactly the same.
Yeah, they do not.
They don't.
The winner here is definitely FTX, and it's because there's more demand for FTX token. FTX, as people transition over to other exchanges that may or may not be the king of the hill anymore, like Binance, for example, they need to bring their benefits over. They need to bring their perks over. And how these exchanges work is it's a staking benefit. So if you want, a decreased amount of trading fees, whether you're a market maker or whatever, you need to stake X amount of BNB tokens. If you want to do it on FTX, you have to stake a certain amount of FTT tokens. So to receive those benefits for becoming a client on that exchange, it's a matter of keeping their token liquid and staking it in their pools. So similar models, but it's not really correlated with what's going on with Solana, because Solana is an Ethereum competitor. Solana is a smart contract platform. It's not the same as FTT token, and it's different from BNB because BNB is the underlying asset of Binance Smart Chain. So there's almost that, more use case, more utility. But when you do a side by side, there's Solana, we need to get above this level of 44. But if you do the same side by side with BNB, BNB is just overhyped. It's over, and its structure is one of the weaker ones out there when we're doing our analysis, our comparative analysis. It hasn't even gotten above the line here that we've been watching with all of these other assets. So BNB is looking very weak, and these two are a good match to be compared
on Binance, for God's sake.
Yeah, it's not surprising. Right. And Binance has had its moment to shine. It's had its claim to fame, and the way that they treat their customers has definitely shifted from this cycle to the last. There was a lot of incentives. There was a lot of reason to become a Binance customer in the early days of Binance, and they're overwhelmed. They can't cope. They have regulatory, bodies threatening them. They're probably needing to build up a heavy cash position for legal proceedings. And they're not caring for the client. They're not caring for the customer.
Just while we're on exchanges, people, I know you're a big fan of FTX. We are not sponsored by BYBIT, but if you're an experienced trader, we do get a small commission of your trading fees if you use our link below. And I do stress for experienced traders, but I actually rate the BYBIT platform. Its order book is amazing. The liquidity there, it's when all other exchanges failed during that huge crash we had, BYBIT was the only one that ticked along for me. So I am a fan of that exchange, as I say.
And it didn't used to be that way. It didn't used to be that way. BYBIT was not this liquid. BYBIT was not this good. But when people are wanting to get hands-on with futures, specifically with Bitcoin and Ethereum, I recommend BYBIT over Binance these days. The user interface is just easier. Leverage on FTX is very confusing, especially for somebody that's new. Whereas when you're using a UI like Binance futures, you're very used to BYBIT as well, but their order books are more liquid and they don't have. They used to have a bunch of flash crashes. They used to be bad for flash crashes. Well,
I mean, this is what I like about them. I mean, you can get in and out of a trade on that platform instantly. It's impressed me. Super impressed by it. Actually, I use it. That's where I trade. But
Sean needs that liquidity, man.
Sean, you must be some sort of mega whale here.
BTC 15 at a time.
Yeah.
I tell you what, my favorite YouTuber from a trading perspective, of course, after Baloo, was a guy called Crypto Face.
Oh yeah, no, that guy's good.
Who?
I don't like his personality.
He's gone.
Oh, is he?
He's a US citizen. He used to basically sit there for hours just live trading on BYBIT, and it was always highly amusing chat. Fantastic trader. But he exited last week, and I've been trying to figure out why. I know they're KYCing, I believe, on that platform. In fact, I need to pick up the phone and speak to those guys. But yeah, I mean, it's a confusing landscape for us. I mean, we've had this channel taken down once before, which was just an awful experience. So I'm very, very careful now with the terms and conditions of YouTube, etc. But yeah, it appears. I mean, I know I believe US residents are not able to use that exchange in the first place. But yeah, he's gone from YouTube. That guy, which is a damn shame. A damn shame.
You pretty much don't have access to leverage at all in the US unless you have $100,000 or more. You have to be an accredited
it's just for
investor.
the rich people.
Yeah, only rich people.
If you're not rich, you're theoretically just stupid in your government's eyes. Is that what they're telling you? Right.
Well, they're trying to protect you, Sean. They're just trying to protect you.
Because you never made any money, and therefore
we just need to protect you.
Yeah, I got to be careful because we'll probably lose the channel again.
Right. Yeah, no,
let's
not get too
ridiculous is this?
conspiracy.
No, I'll put this one out there because this is just public knowledge. But the reason this crypto amendment, have you seen this? The reason the amendment, which the crypto industry would have been fairly happy with, didn't go through. There was one person that said, no, I'm not agreeing to this. And basically his reason for this was that he wanted his military budget to be increased, and he has come out today and not basically, he has said, I actually agreed with the amendment to the crypto bill, but I voted against it because I didn't get what I wanted for my military spending. Now,
well, he's going to find
it world really... are we living in when somebody can publicly say that it's beyond a joke.
Yeah.
I want to be careful what I say here. I mean, I've lost this channel in the past. I don't want that to happen again, but it's kind of awful that I can't say what I want to say right now, but I think you can guess.
There's a couple interesting questions or comments in the chat there. People were asking about ADA, and there's also a game apparently.
Oh, I know. Hey, Baloo's a huge ADA fan. I saw his tweet.
It
earlier.
Says, there's a new game called Lovelace Sega starting on Cardano blockchain soon.
No, it's not. Cardano has no smart contracts.
Well,
okay, come on.
Isn't that the cause for the pump?
Let's go.
I thought that was the cause for the pump, that it's like
maybe
testing.
If anybody is actually interested in my thoughts on Cardano, I just made a video.
Listen, I've stopped
today.
I've actually left my crypto group because they've all become ADA freaking disciples.
Yeah,
you guys into crypto are just like Ethereum shit.
It's it's a great project. It's got a great use case. It's helped Charles Hoskinson travel the world and have a really great travel diary, all on the company dime. It's great.
It's a pet rock. It's a pet rock you can stake.
Oh Jesus, let's not get into pet rocks. Have you seen those fucking things?
Actually, pet rocks, people actually sell those and make money, so it's not like ADA at all.
ETH, man. Have you seen those NFTs?
No, I haven't, but I love it.
Literally,
I should get a pet rock.
60 ETH, man. You got 60 ETH?
I'm not getting a pet rock.
While you're going to have a dig at ADA, let's have a look at their chart though, because it has been shooting up. What does the chart say? We can talk about it fundamentally while we look at the chart, if you like.
Yeah. All right. Twist my arm.
Look, I like having a punt in the crypto space for sure, but a competitor to Ethereum with none of the things Ethereum does.
Yeah, I mean, it's
number one staking coin in the world.
Yeah, because there's nothing else you can do with it.
It used to be a gambling platform.
But anyways,
that's what it was developed for, by the way.
I will approach the TA unbiased. I can tell you everything I hate about the fundamentals of it, but we have a healthy-ish chart. It's still lagging along. It's lagging behind most of the other altcoins. So this is kind of the level to beat that we have marked with all of the other coins. So, it's lagging in that regard. But from a localized perspective, we do have a new high. We broke this last high. So that's a check mark. That's a step in the right direction. It's the shimmer of hope that there is a potential for a trend change. And honestly, if the crypto market continues, there's not a single part of me that thinks that Cardano can't appreciate in price. Speculation, hype is hype. If Doge can pump, Cardano can pump. So it's technically a step in the right direction. If you were looking for an entry, I think the resistance here will probably grant you an entry. You can get some sort of pullback at some point. If it pulls back beyond the $1.50 mark and fails to hold the $1.50, I would be apprehensive of lower levels closer to $1. And, I don't try to get too bearish too quickly, but, if we do end up into those areas and you do find yourself holding a Cardano at $1, you're going to want to bail if it goes below $1, because it's not, it's a very ugly chart. It is not healthy. It is not showing any demand. Look at this volume.
Yeah, exactly.
This is on the most liquid access point for Cardano. Everybody is trading Cardano on Binance. There is zero liquidity. There is zero. Interpret volume as interest.
Yeah.
The market cares this much about Cardano. So this pump is artificial. It's people who are in Cardano who heard some Cardano news and they went and bought more Cardano. The market as a whole isn't trading Cardano. So there's my attempt at trying to be unbiased.
There's a very intelligent statement from Spaceman about Cardano. He said, you want to be in before smart contracts, right? Not after.
Not necessarily. It's buy the rumor, sell the news. The point at which they launch smart contracts is the point at which they realize the entire ecosystem has nothing built. So crypto traders are very impatient. So when we get to that realization, that smart contracts exist, we'll also achieve the realization that it's going to take, 12 to 18 months before there's anything that you can actually use. People aren't going to wait around, and it's probably going to have a retracement. It'll depend on which part of the market cycle we are from macro whole for the crypto market as a whole in its price cycle as to how the behavior of the investors are. But if this carries into a blow off top with a bear market, it's going to probably go below your entry easily.
And that's why they invented staking.
Exactly. Staking. I do not like staking. Staking
keep your shit all locked up.
Keep your shit locked. Forget it.
Forget
contract.
About it. Yeah.
Okay, so come on, guys. Give me one hidden gem each, whether it's based on fundamentals or a great looking chart. Mr. Gonzo, what do you got? What's your hidden gem?
Oh, I hear this coin called NCG is doing quite a lot. There is a comment
NCG.
There is a comment in the chat there.
You're not going to find it yet.
Nine Chronicles Gold. Hey, it's wrapped. There it is, but it's a fake, ain't it?
No, that's the real thing. It's listed on Miso now, right? You can buy it. It's not trading. You should, Baloo, you should look at that Miso. It's crazy. They have almost...
Miso made a comeback, eh?
Yep. So there's...
What is it, MSO? It's not showing up as Miso.
Oh, well, no, Miso is the name of their... Was it minimal?
No, it's
coin offering.
Sushi.
It's a
gotcha.
But they've got 2 million coins on sale, and they've got 800 ETH in
I think it's hidden up fast.
So it's almost $1.30 a coin for any.
Ooh, that's not gonna last.
Well, they're gonna list
it. That's not gonna last.
They're gonna put all that into the liquidity, and it's just gonna go.
Yeah.
Very. Look, it's a tricky one. This one, I like this project. We've been bringing it to our community for the last 3 months. We had a contract with those guys, full disclosure, for previous 3 months. We're not currently in that. I like this project. I hold the token. I'm holding it long term. Look, I'll be honest, if I could sell a small bit of it at the prices it's currently at, then I'll possibly look to do that. But I like this project. I think it's got legs. We got into Axie very, very early. I'm sort of viewing this in the same type of light.
If
me.
most of that, like that Discord's pretty active. There's a lot of users playing that game. If those users were buying or mining or whatever at 10 cents a pop and it lists for $1.30, she's going down.
There'll be people that'll be looking to sell.
Yeah.
Like the IDO could become, could be a victim of its success in a weird way.
Right.
I mean,
if you just do the play to earn like intro steps that they have for 9 Chronicles, it's over like $150 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like 19.
Well, I mean, we gave away a prize of 2,000 NCG today. So that's like nearly $2,500.
But we are counting chickens before they hatched.
But if that person's watching, look, temper your enthusiasm. We don't know how the actual IDO is going to go.
And anytime there's a launch, trying to get your orders filled, good luck. It's not easy.
Gas whale dumpage.
Yeah, I mean, we all know how those charts look. They often come off a cliff and then they rebound. So I'm confident this is a good project. I think that it's possibly going to be a great buying opportunity on when it does actually list.
Honestly, so I can't see like every coin. After they do an IDO, it's got the like, and then a slow bleed out. This one, I think, is just going to go and bleed out for weeks before it finally does real action, because it's just so overinflating the value of it right off the bat. I don't understand how any person that has anything to do with 9CG is going to not try and sell the top of that.
Yeah,
it depends, Jordan. It depends if it's a strong community. I think that, where money is concerned, greed always comes into the equation. But
you're talking about guys.
I don't think it's in any whale's interest to have something dump on listing. That's just dumb, especially if that's very short-term thinking. So
who the hell is going to buy at that price then? Who in the community is going to buy at that price if they've been mining for free? And no, I can't see.
Look, it'll find its fair value. I mean, what sort of time period do you think, in your experience, for a fair value to be found is?
Well, probably 3 weeks at least.
About 3 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say a month.
Yeah. Because it's like you get your first like 48 hours of crazy madness, right? And then you kind of have these like false, like, oh, it's going to go up again. No. Oh, it's going to go up again. No.
It was trading peer-to-peer on the Discord for 30 cents before the IDO. I think that's kind of my base level. Anything under that, I'd be grabbing it. But I mean, even not financial advice, people. It's just me talking.
It's just super. I've never seen anything like this before, in like all the kind of new projects I've seen.
Pros and cons about how they've done it, man. Pros and cons, but let's not get bogged down in that, because a lot of people are just not going to have a clue what we're talking about here. So should we have a look at another chart? Oh, sorry. That was your hidden gem.
I don't have hidden gems.
No, Mr. Gonzo's. You don't.
Oh no, there was just a question in the chat about it, so I wanted to address it.
Okay, cool.
It's a live show and stuff, so.
Yeah, I mean, look, for our community watching, the whole point of what we're trying to do here is, get you to effectively earn and make crypto without an investment other than your time. That's very much what the Hard Forking channel is about. So, people have been mining this. They've been earning, as Mr. Gonzo just said. I mean, do the math on what the token's worth and what you can earn. You're very early to this one. I think it's a great game as well. So check it out if you haven't already.
Mr. Moa,
Baloo, you don't do hidden gems. Fair enough. Is there a chart that looks rather special?
I mean, I showed you FTX. FTX looks great. And keeping with the exchange, so there's a reason. I'll show you a project I'm interested in. Don't think it's a hidden gem. I think that it is a not well adopted project, which is typically the definition of a hidden gem. The reason I don't like hidden gems is they're hidden. Nobody knows about them. They're not liquid. You can't get in them. You can't get out of them. and the market doesn't care about them because they don't exist. So for hidden gems, it's not usually my practice. It's not usually my forte. But one project that does hold an investment of mine is Woo Trade. These guys are quant traders. This team is a bunch of quant traders, and they have started a very low slippage, low highly liquid derivatives platform. Now, who knows what the future holds for them, because they are kind of going to be incorporating a lot of DeFi and back-end swap attributes to their platform. But pretty interesting project overall. And I think that the team is really strong just because they're the number one quant traders on FTX by volume consistently every single week. These guys do a ton of trading volume, and they wanted to build a platform that had very, very tight spreads and deep liquidity. So they've done that through smart contracts and through DeFi. Their exchange is launched. Their exchange is in beta. It's being tested. It exists, but nobody knows about it. Not financial advice. This is not something I'm saying go buy, because it's just, if you are going to buy it, much like myself, this is not for this cycle. This is for next cycle. I'm trying to pick Binance. I'm trying to pick, which exchange is up next. So oftentimes in venture capital, you have a 1 in 100 chance. So give this one those odds. This will be successful.
Yeah, it's
it
actually
has a 1%
slightly more
1%.
It's between 2.5% and 4% in VC. So
very low
similar
odds
to crypto.
Yeah,
they are the odds. Although I think we've done a little better than 2% in the crypto space. If you've been following us, I'm sure you'll agree. Woo Trade, we'll check it out. Absolutely. Mr. Gonzo, birthday boy, any questions while we've got our TA expert with us?
Let's look at a dominance chart.
Yeah, let's take a look at BTC.D. Maybe do a comparison with actually, we'll take a look at a few actually. BTC.D. So Bitcoin dominance is actually ticking down. This is a favorable environment for altcoins, contrary to what I'm saying with my comparative analysis. I think there's a potential for the altcoins to start, appreciating in value. I just don't think that structurally they're going to be ahead of Bitcoin currently. There might be dollars flowing in that direction, but I don't see an outperformance just yet. I think it's popcorn season. It's not altcoin season. So random things will be popping off. Let's take a look at Ethereum dominance. This is one that I honestly never really read, so I don't have a good interpretation. Ethereum dominance is rising as Ethereum is taking over the world. So that's looking good. And then another one that I do know a little bit more about is USD.T or USDT.D, tether dominance. Now, boom, that's what you want to see in tether dominance. This is telling you that investors are back at it. Investors are heading back to work. This chart is falling. The tether is flowing into all of your favorite cryptocurrencies, whether it's Bitcoin or your altcoins alike. You want to see this puppy go down. Line of support here, you might get a turnaround somewhere in this generalized area. These charts are used
Baloo,
for references.
This is basically telling us the amount of tether sitting on an exchange. So when it's dropping, this is telling you the dominance of tether against the market. So tether is being burned effectively. When this is going down, tether's being burned. When this is going up, tether's being minted. You can do this with USDC. You can do this with DAI dominance. DAI is more closely correlated with what's going on in DeFi, but these are kind of used for kind of the ebbs and flows of the cycles. So, we are in a very strong trajectory to the downside. So it's looking favorable for people releasing their cash holdings and redeploying it into crypto projects. Okay. Any other questions, birthday boy?
No, man. I mean, just pretty insulated these days. Haven't really been doing too much trading. kind of just taken a very, very macro approach to everything. So, my entries were like two years ago, January.
Can I ask you a question on that? Because you were just a flat out trader. I mean, we used to make content and I could see your eyes darting around. I think you had about 18 screens going around looking at the millions of coins you were in.
Yeah.
You seem a lot more relaxed to me these days.
Well, it's about
what has been sort of the shift in your trading and crypto behavior over the last year.
Well, it's like capital deployment, I guess, right? Like when I first got into it, I started super small. Like I started crypto doing faucets, bounty hunting, just surfing Twitter, looking for free shit. And then I would put like $100 in here, $500 there. I did that for like 6 months. Like I really, really started at the bottom. And then, as you get down to Binance, you get onto Craptopia and all these other small exchanges and just do small trades, learning that stuff, right? And then, got my first pump and dump, did all that shit. And then I built up enough of a stack where I was like, okay, now I have some capital to invest. And that's when I kind of started aggressively trading. And by that time, I'd already had like 10 months of trading experience. It was enough to get me going and to make profitable trades consistently. And then once I had enough of a stack, I didn't want to risk it that aggressively, So I just shifted my strategy into, I would do smaller trades on really risky stuff. And most of my capital was put into like LPs, staking, or just going deeper into projects that I had really good entries on. And I don't worry about the price action because my entry price is so low. And I know that I'm going to be in them for years. So yeah, it's just that like the maturation, I guess, of being in the market and, just the cycles and also the utility of crypto. Before, in 2018, there was no utility in crypto other than like Binance trading coins from exchanges. Ethereum was running, but there wasn't anything on it, right? You could get some crypto kitties and stuff like that. You could mint NFTs, but nobody would buy them. Nobody would know what they were. So just everything.
They didn't have a marketplace for it yet.
Yeah, exactly. so everything has just matured, from day one, I've always been like, what's that project? Go to the website, find it, download it. Can I use it?
Yeah.
Now there's enough stuff that I can use. I don't have to go and just trade and speculate, right? So that's where my analysis is going. I was using the products instead of actually like just guessing and hoping that they develop something. So I'm a lot more fundamentally based now. Less speculation, blind speculation anyway.
It's quite amazing, isn't it? If we go back a year to where we are now, a year ago, I think where it was almost to the day we had Jiho on the channel from Axie. I hadn't even looked at the gaming sector, which is just on fire at the moment. Yeah, of course, there's a lot of hype in the space, but I think everyone watching right now, and the three of us included, have seen this economy just grow and grow and grow, which fills me full of confidence moving forward. There will be challenges to that game, and I'm sure there'll be some good ones. But Baloo, how have things changed for you over, say, the last year?
I actually really resonate with everything you just said, Jordan, because it's very like I started the group probably 2019, I guess, later stages of 2019. And I was still bear market traumatized. So my approach,
PTSD.
Yeah. My approach was, I don't give a fuck what it does. I don't care what it does. If it goes up, I'm in.
Yeah.
And it was about volume. It was about price action. And it was about this, that, and the other. And then there was a shift. And the shift is relatively recently, basically since the bull market really started going, because when the bull market started going, the scammers come out. When we were trading in the bear market, if it was going up, it was a good project. Plain and simple. Like that was it. Like if it was going up, it was a good project.
Yeah.
Then the scammers come out. So now you got to start introducing a little bit more fundamental analysis. And that got me to my method of fundamental analysis, which is very much like Jordan, where I just go to the website, go see the thing, go connect my wallet, go touch, feel, and that's it. Like I'm not reading white papers,
right? Check
not trying to, I'm not deciphering, the consensus diagrams and all of that shit. Like I'm just like, what is it? Does it exist? Does it work?
Yeah.
And we have so much of that now. It's so much more developed. It's crazy how many dApps exist. and you can use these things and they work. I mean, yes, we just had a little hack on the Poly network, but we're going through growing pains. It's just a little
possibly
hack,
the biggest theft in human history. I haven't actually compared it to other robberies, but what was it, 611 million?
Yeah, that's right.
And the market keeps going up.
And the market keeps going up. So it's probably worth more than that. But,
I read that there's not even enough ETH in the coin mixer to cover the whole thing.
So some fun facts on this one. It appears like, I don't know. I mean, look, this is an evolving story. For anyone watching, if you don't know about this, what was it? Poly trade or something or other?
Poly network. Poly network.
Yeah. 600.
Polygon?
611
yeah,
million
it's Polygon related. Yeah.
It's all Polygon now.
Yeah. It's all Polygon.
Gotta be careful what we say here, people. I'm not entirely sure about. It's a project that it's like a cross-chain.
Yeah, it has to do with Polygon, Matic Polygon.
Gone.
It was a yeah.
Let's have a look at their chart.
Oh, it's doing fine.
I read
considering a $600 million hack, it's doing just fine. So it's strong.
It's not. It isn't the I
thought it was. I thought it was Polygon. But anyway,
no, it's not. No, it's Polyfinance or something or other. It was.
Want to buy some really cheap Bitcoin? It's called BTCG. It's just like Bitcoin.
But apparently, these hackers have they've already traced this back. They actually one of the wallets they KYC'd somewhere. So.
I think they gave them an opportunity to come up with some sort of negotiation agreement, which I think is probably smart for all parties involved. Just they found an exploit. It's effectively for the greater good because you learn most from your mistakes. So yeah, I mean this hacker's got 600 mil. If he really wants to walk away with this thing clean, he should come forward. He should, in whatever privacy way he can, start communicating with these people and negotiate a term where he can walk away. Because
or just rock up with these 600 mil.
Yeah, but I mean, you're going to have a lot of hungry people after you, and some are legit and some are not. And it's the ones that aren't that are really going to rip you apart.
I mean, there's some very smart people in the blockchain space, and the whole point of the blockchain is an immutable record. So it's very, very difficult to get away with something like this. So
if I were him, I would negotiate terms for you just walk away.
It's probably some young kid who's just knows how to.
Yeah, probably.
He's like, yo, 600 mil.
Yeah.
What I did. Oh shit! What did I just do?
Fuck yeah! Let's go buy some NFTs.
Some ETH rocks. Here I come. 60 ETH.
Do you own any? Have you bought any art, Baloo? Do you own some NFTs?
I was looking at bears of the blockchain. For no other reason than it has a bear and my avatar is a bear and I wanted a bear, but I didn't want a bear enough to spend a quarter of an Ethereum on a bear. So no.
EFA bear.
Have you reached out to these people to ask them for a beer?
No, it's one of those generators. It's one of those, 10,000 NFTs printed with, it's a copycat of Bored Apes. Looks exactly like Bored Apes, but it's bears of the blockchain. Yeah. So it's not going anywhere. It's a copycat.
We're going to wrap it up very shortly, community. So if you've got any questions for us, now's your chance. We'll chat away casually here, but we've got an eye on any questions. So
IOTX. There was a question about IOTX that's kind of ripping. Does anybody know what that's about?
Yeah, it's popcorn season. There's going to be random stuff just going. IOTX. I don't know anything fundamentally speaking on IOTX. Let me pull up a chart. It was my screen sharing.
Nutty.
There we go. Am I sharing my screen?
Not yet. Gotcha.
IOTX on Tether. Yeah, I don't know what you want me to say here. I don't know what you want me to do. I don't do you want me to tell you to get in? Because the answer is no.
All in.
Should I sell yet?
Yes, if you hold IOXTX, nobody goes broke taking profits, and this is not a sustainable natural move. This is nothing, guys. Like, seriously, don't even listen to why people are telling you this is going. It's going because it's being manipulated.
What makes you say that?
Alchemy Pay is another one that's kind of getting a lot of news.
Which one?
Alchemy Pay. ACH.
Yeah. So I
Alchemy?
hold the AMP token, and we've actually looked at the AMP chart on this show numerous times, but this one is sort of coming and stolen the thunder here a wee bit. Who have they partnered with, Gonzo? Is it Binance or?
Yeah,
well, the AMP token is.
Oh, Shopify.
ACH is.
Well, it's
ACH,
not having any.
It's gone through the roof.
ACH.
Yeah. What is that,
ACH?
Sean? What happened there?
What?
AMP.
Alchemy Pay.
Yeah.
AMP.
Yeah.
We'll come back and have a look at the AMP chart in a moment, actually. But Alchemy Pay has just gone batshit crazy after this news.
Yeah, this is not. This is not a time to invest. This is like no. It's a no. It's a no for me. This is hype. This is pure hype.
Well, it's news, quite big news, but
but this is an overreaction. This is an overpricing of the asset.
It goes off the chart.
Yeah, this is regardless of news. Regardless of news, this is an over valuation of price, and to become a participant in anywhere in here is extremely risky. So how I usually handle these things mentally is I just say, yay, blockchain, we have development, we have progress in the space. And then I move on because becoming a participant in something like this has a very, very high probability of losing you money. And that's not what I'm in here for. I'm not here to lose money. So for me, it's a no. But cool. Alchemy Pay, progress in the blockchain space. We love it.
Yeah. And a little bit of hype and a little bit of marketing.
Yeah.
Can we have a look at the AMP chart there, Baloo? I think we've been looking at it.
You want to go back to that fucking death zone?
It's like the exact reverse of this coin.
Yeah, let's go back to that. Yeah, that's one big red candle, man.
What?
I thought AMP was pegged to the dollar. I thought it was a stable coin.
No.
That's when it listed on Binance. Maybe you needed a different.
Oh well, where was it first? Where was it? Gemini.
You can use
Gemini, yeah.
So Gemini's good. Okay, yeah, I don't know what's going on over there. Yeah, it looks a little. It's in an uptrend, but it's also at a transition point here. And I would be wary just because YouTube has been shouting this one pretty hot and heavy. I don't like it when that happens. More often than not, the flavor of the month in YouTube, you're too late.
Exactly. And Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you and I have been looking at this chart for a couple of months. So I think my entry was.
Yeah, in a couple of months would have given you a nice opportunity. And we're back inside. It's looking a little distributional right now. I'd be watching for a breakdown somewhere around this level at around 5 cents. You watch for a breakdown around 5 cents. If it goes below that, she's heading down. Overvalued. YouTube overvaluation.
Well, it's a US-based project, so I've got to look into whether they've in fact.
I looked into it a little bit, and I don't know how it works, and I don't know at what point I need to buy the token. Why do I need to buy AMP? I can use the product without buying AMP. So, for me, they call it collateral, that it's used as a collateral utility token. It sounds like some sort of US loophole for you to be able to custody crypto, which may be a necessary evil. I don't know. It's very complicated.
Well, I'm actually hoping to have them on the channel to talk to the founder. So
but if it is a point A to point B utility token, if it's a value transfer utility, it's not something investable for me, because if it's like I have $100 worth of Bitcoin and I need to pay $100 to the merchant and the token in the middle is AMP, the token value of AMP is irrelevant, and it's just strictly bridging a utility. And for me, that's not really, but yeah, I look forward to hearing what the creator has to say.
Yeah. Well, I'll invite you along for that chat, Baloo, for sure. Okay, guys, thank you so much. So how's life going for you, Baloo? Are you you're sort of out and about now. What's is
life.
COVID's
still a thing out here. They still have regulations in place, but it's not really affecting my day-to-day too much. I'm just in a holding pattern right now to figure out what the next move is. Got to go back to
Mr. Gonzo's stuck by himself
at some point.
Beautiful penthouse in Bangkok on his birthday.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that might be changing though. Might have to make a location change here.
Oh,
and the school situation is a mess. My daughter's supposed to go back to school on Monday here in Bangkok, but it's like complete lockdown. The schools aren't going to open for months. If they do come back, we get like quarantined in our apartment. Well, they get quarantined when they come back, and then the schools aren't open. You got to do the virtual learning and stuff. So it might be an interesting year for my daughter, I think. A bit of transition, which is tough, I mean, it's happened to a lot of people here, like expats, with kids and jobs and people just like bugging out. I just feel like in Predator, it's like there goes another guy. There was another guy. I'm like, shit, I'm the last one standing here. What's going on? Am I even making the right choice here? What's going on? Where's everybody? Everybody's leaving.
You're Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're the last man standing.
I'm Mr. T.
Absolutely. Okay, Baloo, thanks, mate, for your time. We always enjoy having you on the channel. Lots to discuss. We're up to some interesting things here with the hard forking community, and very much like you to be part of that. Mr. Gonzo, happy birthday again, mate.
Birthday.
I hope you managed to find some fun tonight.
I didn't be able to find any fun for like a month and a half. Seriously.
Order a few beers. Order a few beer from Grab.
But before 8, they close at 8.
Oh, right. Yeah. Why? TikTok.
Okay. And most importantly, thanks very much to you, the community. Really, really getting to know a lot of you a lot more personally. Appreciate you all. We'll be back here tomorrow with Jesse and Leanne for our crypto update show. And we'll see you all live on Friday. I've got a number of teams I went crazy with breeding this week. So hope to see lots of you. Well, did I go crazy with breeding? I went crazy enlisting the help of probably the best breeder in all of the Axie space, Mr. Gonzo. Thank you again for that, mate.
Well, it's all about timing too, right? The timing was not so great, but
I overpaid, obviously, but yeah,
I'll
bring up that grievance with Geo next week.
Come on, give us more notice, man.
Yeah, you could have sent a text, man.
Give me some land.
Yeah.
Hey, that's how you
What about land? What about land, Baloo? Before we'll probably get bogged down in an Axie chat now. Have you looked at buying some land? Is that interesting?
I have been. So it's interesting. It goes against my typical investment thesis to buy something pre-launch, buy something before I can get hands-on with it. But it goes with my investment thesis to lean into the leaders and lead into the winners. And Axie is a pretty clear winner here. I don't know. I'm very undecided. It's hard to think up a strategy. It's hard to think about, if there's even a possibility where maybe I could have my scholars walk over my land. Like, I have no idea. I have no idea how it works. So I don't know if it's priced appropriately. So I'm probably not going to buy it.
Tell you. He's got my land, by the way.
Yeah. From what I understand, the land will generate AXS, which by itself, it's like, okay, that's great. And it sounds like that, you're going to need scholars to run the Axies on the land. And then just collecting resources, SLP or rocks or stones, and crafting. And it's going to open up a whole bunch of different scholarship things, I think, is when they get it going.
Okay.
So you're going to have more utility for some of the Axies that aren't great in PvP. You have more of your grinders, right? Like the woodcutter and the chopper and the collector, right? So, but it's
does
really hard to plan.
I guess you don't know, but the plot of land, like when you're mining it for resources, do those resources run out?
Yeah, and then they restock, I think.
Oh, okay.
There was a little test where you click it,
gotcha.
come back to it later, and there's more there. And then it's on a refresh on each piece of land, and you can go to
Gotcha.
other pieces of land that are around you and stuff. So, but it sounds like there's going to be a bit of like battling, you know, and like Jeho was saying, like Age of Empires, where you build little kingdoms and stuff, and it sounds like there's going to be armies of axes. I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah.
I looked at it, actually, the price of Forest. Well, it's down in Ether price. It's only like 5 ETH now, but it's still the same USD value of about 15,000. I would like,
yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow.
I was that close to flipping some SLP, like as part of my like reinvestment, you know, like I feel like I don't really need to get more axes. I'm tired of spending AXS. I want more AXS. So I want to, and if the land generates more AXS, I was like, maybe I should do this.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's the sticker price that's really putting me off, but I don't plan on selling my Scholar axes. So like, you know, I'll be taking profits along the way with SLP, and, you know, through breeding, I'll be taking some profits, and I'll keep like a nice bloodline of breeding axes. But other than that, I don't see myself really, you know, selling the underlying axes. So yeah, if I don't plan on doing that, then do I plan on having land? I don't know. Yeah,
there's going to be another land sale too, right? So
yeah,
that's the other option.
Right.
Secondary.
Can I buy my land back from you, Mr. Gonzo?
Yeah, 15 ETH.
It would have to be one of the dumber things we've ever done, actually. Fuck. Oops.
Oh, well, something's happening.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, enjoy your Wednesday or Tuesday, as it may be in other time zones. Baloo, thanks so much, sir.
Always a pleasure.
Great to have you back here again. We'll see you next week. Mr. Gonzo, happy birthday once again.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Don't go too wild tonight. And community, see you all tomorrow. Cheers, everyone.
Hey, Baloo. Later, guys.
Have a good one.
Bye.